up, fellow nerds, and welcome to Not Your Status Quo's breakdown and review full of spoilers. This is your final warning, spoiler-filled review of The Mandalorian Chapter 2.
And watch out, that part's going to be in the title, too. It's going to say spoiler-filled. And if you like spoiler-filled things, if you like us talking about things and ruining them for you in spoiler reviews, please subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell to be notified of future videos.
And hopefully we're not ruining it for you. Hopefully we're enhancing your experience with this episode.
That's what I meant.
Share it with all of your friends because we want to enhance it for them also.
Absolutely.
Chapter 2, The Child. It opens with the Mandalorian walking back to his ship because his creature, the blurg, has run off during his fight at the end of the last episode.
Right.
And I really love this scene. No talking, just walking. You hear the Mandalorian score, which I think is just so great, until some Bosks attack.
So far, I think the music throughout the series is incredible. I really like it. I'm loving it. It's very reminiscent to me of like a spaghetti western. I'm digging it. I love the opening music. I love the ending music, and so far I love the score. Like what you just said. Just in walking, it's great. Good.
I like the scene transitions. Very, like you said, very A New Hope.
Yeah.
How they just move across
The screen wipe. Yeah.
Yeah. You can tell Jon Favreau was a definite fan growing up.
Yep.
And he takes care of some business. Obviously, these bounty hunters are trying to kill the child, so now we have IG-11, some Bosks.
We noticed that they dropped a fob.
Yes.
So obviously there were multiples of these things, and they are out to kill poor baby Yoda. Or Yoda Light, Diet Yoda? What are we calling him?
We'll call him Baby Yoda, maybe.
All right.
What do you guys think? Should we call him Baby Yoda?
Yoda, baby.
Yeah, put it in the comments below. Let us know.
He takes care of business. He gets back to his ship, and unfortunately, some Jawas are stripping his ship clean.
Right. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, it's a bad day for the Mandalorian.
No.
Well, it's a bad day for a couple Jawas, too.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
If you remember the scene from The Empire Strikes Back when Darth Vader tells Boba Fett, no disintegrations.
Yeah.
Well, the Jawas weren't so lucky.
Nope.
This then turns in, as they're fleeing, as some of their, fellow Jawas are being disintegrated in front of their eyes. They get into their sandcrawler, they take off, the Mandalorians racing after them, trying to climb the ship. This scene reminded me of Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
So much. He's jumping on the ship, he's climbing up the side, like Dave said, like Batman from the old thing. They're throwing stuff at him, they're opening up things, they're hitting on him, he's shooting them and kicking them and doing whatever he can.
Oh, and he's got a good shot. I'll tell you
yeah.
that. He took out a couple of them.
And he finally makes it to the top, and the Jawas are there with their little rifles that stunned R2 in A New Hope, and just blast him, and he shakes and falls off the ship.
And we don't know how long he's been out, but the whole time Baby Yoda was just kind of following along with him because his little pod that he's in has been attached to the Mandalorian's computer on his wrist. So he's just been chilling out, floating along there with him, and just kind of hanging out. And, oh, hey, you're awake? Cool.
And apparently 50 years is not long enough for this species to learn how to walk.
They're small.
Yeah, they're small.
And there was a scene we kind of happened before this, and I forgot I wanted to talk about it. The Mandalorian, after the fight with the Bosks, he's kind of like healing himself or, fixing his armor.
Yeah, looked like he was stitching himself up.
And Baby Yoda, that's what we'll call him until you guys tell us otherwise. We'll take a vote.
Yeah.
We'll do a Twitter poll to find out what we should call it. So make sure you guys follow us on Twitter. The link is down in our comments. But the baby's reaching out. Looks like he's trying to heal him. And the Mandalorian kind of pushes him away. And I'm thinking, does he not think the baby is special, has these powers? Or does he not want to accept the Force healing?
I think he just looked at it as, oh, it's just a baby being a baby and trying to grab something. He sees my shiny armor, whatever,
The Mandalorians, did battle the Jedi, so they can resist. There's a certain point where they can resist their powers. They wear the helmet to resist the mind trick.
Yeah.
So it might just be a natural feeling to resist.
And I when I saw the first scene, I was like, oh, maybe he just doesn't want to accept the help. But later we'll find out something, and we'll talk about it when we get there.
Yeah.
That makes me think he had no idea this.
That's what
baby.
I'm thinking.
So the next day, I have spoken. Cooley comes back. He reaches to his house. Baby Yoda eats a frog.
Swallows the frog whole.
And he agrees to help him.
I told you that was going to happen too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He agrees to help him. And he says, they can be bargained with, and the Mandalorian's not digging it probably.
Not really digging it, man. He wants his ship parts back. As he puts it, I don't want to trade for them. They're my parts.
They were stolen from me.
Right.
So they go up, and once again, the Jawas want him to put his things down. And I think my favorite line of the episode, they're going there, and he goes, they don't seem to like you much. And he's like, I did disintegrate a few of them.
That he did. Just a few of them, right.
And, they want his armor, and it's like, no, they want Baby Yoda. He's like, get away from him. And then finally they agree for an egg.
Right. They don't really specify what kind. They kind of just take him and show him to this general direction of...
After some
It's a Harry Cadbury Easter egg.
Right. Very strange thing. And what he has to do to get this egg? Wow. Okay, so first off, he has to wander into this slimy, nasty, disgusting cave. And so this whole time we're trying to figure out what the heck kind of desert planet are we even on? What is going on? There are Jawas here. This is strange. And then he has to wander into, I don't know if that was mud or what it was that he was sloshing around in, but did not look pleasing, only to get confronted by this giant creature with a huge rhino-like horn. And, I mean, this guy tears him apart.
He tries to use his rifle, but it's jammed because of the mud or whatever substance that is.
Yep.
And finally, when the Mandalorian looks like he's about to be done in by this horned beast, Baby Yoda raises his little hand, raises the beast, stops the charge.
Oh, yeah.
Raises the beast. The Mandalorian's not sure what's going on, to be quite honest. He sees the baby's hand up. He sees the horned beast up.
It's like you can see him doing the math, like putting the two and two and together into his head. He's like, okay, is the baby doing this?
And that's some good acting because, you can't see his face.
Right, yeah.
So you have to interpret what he's thinking through his bodily motions.
It kind of reminds me of the Dredd movie where he was wearing his helmet the entire time and all you had was, just the emotion from his speaking.
You're talking about Sly or Carl Urban?
No, the Carl Urban. The good Judge Dredd movie.
Okay.
And then he finally, he kills the beast. He must have hit it in its jugular or something because one little small knife sticks in it. It dies. Mm-hmm. He gets the egg. The Jawas crack it open and eat it.
Oh,
and one of the most disturbing scenes ever in a Star Wars movie.
It's a lot of caramel. I'm telling you.
It is.
That was a sloppy mess.
It's either some peanut butter.
I hope Cadbury sells those eggs for Christmas.
See, we got ideas here. Cadbury, so sponsor us.
Here, children, have your hairy slop egg.
Dress up as Jawas and eat your. Have your friend, the Mandalorian, bring it over.
So disgusting. Like I could have gone the whole episode without seeing that.
Yeah, I was shocked when they shot. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I thought they'd at least cook it, make an omelet or something.
No, just slice off the top. All of them dipping their hands in, pulling out this nasty, slimy yolk.
They've been rolling around in who knows what all day long.
Yeah.
Everyone's dirtying up the egg.
Yeah.
He gets his parts back after that scene. Sort of a montage of him putting it back together. He takes off. He asks Cooley, hey, I could use a man of your skills for a crew, and I thought for sure he was going to jump on board. And he goes, no, I've spent my time in servitude. And he leaves. I thought maybe after that he would go back. His house was destroyed.
Yeah.
He'd have to join him.
See, maybe his aunt and uncle would be burnt up too.
Yeah. Like Luke.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I was happy they didn't do that because that would have been kind of easy. I really think this is kind of shaping up to be a warrior and a child. It's based on an anime. I can't remember the name of it for the life of me now. And I think they're going that route, and this whole kind of episode had that feel to it. It's kind of like a spaghetti western with kind
Anime
of a
kind of thing.
yeah, it really had
Yeah,
that.
I could see that. Yeah, I kind of was. I was thinking a little bit of that the last episode too. I kind of got that feeling of it.
What I really liked about it is that, as much as the dialogue, I think we have probably said all the words that were spoken in that show. There was not much dialogue, but it translate. What was it?
It really
It just closed a whole section of time that might not get explained, later on, and they didn't even have to speak. It wasn't all action. It was just like, here's what he went through.
You could see just by the way that he was glancing, in a certain direction, or the way the music was, playing or didn't play at a certain time, or just like there were certain scenes that just played out perfect without any words.
Yeah, they know what they're doing.
And I love, people are probably out there thinking, oh, this is kind of a filler episode. I love the
No
fact
way.
that it wasn't just, okay, he got the asset, he's back on his ship, he's taken off. It was a whole adventure just getting his ship up and running. It wasn't just, part of my notes was not everything is solved with a blaster fight.
Yeah.
He has to go and he has to do a little mission for the Jawas to get that egg.
I see this also as character development too, because now we know a little bit more about this Mandalorian. We know that he's somewhat tactical to an extent. He is able to use all of the weapons at his disposal when he needs to, but he's not overpowered, that's for sure. Because as we can see, the Jawas take him out with their taser rifles. This giant beast is able to take him out, and if it hadn't been for Baby Yoda, he probably would have been killed.
And we were talking about the thing earlier when he turned away Baby Yoda's help.
Yeah.
When he's talking about what happened, he goes, explain to me again what happened. And he goes, I really don't know.
Yeah.
And we were kind of talking about it before we started shooting this video. Jedis aren't everywhere. A lot of people don't know really what a Jedi is. They hear stories. Even Han Solo thought, oh, your old hokey religion. Mm-hmm. And then by the time The Force Awakens, he's like, yeah, it's real, all of it. So there's a good chance, especially in the Outer Rim, they've never seen a Force-sensitive person that they've known of or had any encounter with them. So when he saw, Baby Yoda doing that, he was like, okay.
He might have never really heard of it or what the Force powers could actually do,
And this could be the point where he decides not to give it back to the client.
It could be, yeah.
Or he's going to take it there, and he's going to find out
more.
What?
And demand more.
Yeah.
Maybe show up, act like he doesn't have it, and say, why is it so important? I don't know.
Or there's also, I think, another story going on that they kind of hinted at in the first, and it's him getting his signet, and it's him with his clan and trying to bring Mandalore back into glory.
Right.
Because they were held under the thumb of the Jedi and the Empire all this time, so they want to come back. I think everything he's doing is to bring back glory to his clan and bring back the Mandalorians into the forefront. And they've hinted at it in the first episode, so I think he's going to go back, and he's either going to, A, give the baby back for the reward, maybe they're going to be attacked right then and he's going to escape with it, or he's going to keep it thinking, this is really going to bring my clan back into power.
Yeah, you could be right about
that. It contradicts what you just said, though, about him not knowing.
Well, he does now.
Right, but how could he, being a Mandalorian, the people that they bring in to fight Jedi, and just being 5 years after Return of the Jedi, I think he would have had to have known about Jedi.
No, Luke would have been the only one at that time.
But this guy isn't a newborn. I'm sure he was alive through the entire.
But the Jedis were hunted down after
series.
Revenge of the Sith. I mean, that was 25 years ago. I mean, he's not that old. He wouldn't have remembered the Jedi attacking his planet. He may have seen stories, but I don't think he had any real interaction with a Force-sensitive person. He definitely probably never had any interaction with a Yoda.
Oh, yeah. Well, since there's only 3 of them in the universe that we know of, probably not.
Yoda, Yaddle, and Baby?
Yep.
Is that the name, Yaddle?
Yeah.
Good looking up.
And then I was also thinking at the end of this episode, has anyone been training the baby? Obviously, there's 2 things that happened. Either he's a Mary Sue. No, I'm just kidding. Either Yoda's species is very instinctive in the Force and just know how to use it without any real training.
I think that might be the case. That's what I'm leaning towards.
Or someone's been training him, been showing up, training him. He obviously, this person was not there when the Mandalorian came to collect the asset. But could they come looking for the Mandalorian to get Baby Yoda back?
And do you think he's been kidnapped and re-kidnapped by a series and groups of different people? Because our alien friend here mentioned that when they came here with the asset, that it was bringing nothing but violence and destruction. So it makes you think these might not have been, I don't know, necessarily his caretakers. They could have just been trying to get a quick buck or something. I don't know.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's very possible. Since
I hope
this
we
baby,
find out more.
I do believe we will. You know, the baby's been around for 50 years, since about the time Anakin was born. So there's a lot of backstory they can either cover or not cover and explain where he's been, why he is. You know, if he's a clone of Yoda, obviously they're trying to hide him from the Jedis because they don't want Yoda to find out. Or if it's an actual baby who's just this powerful in the Force, because it seems like the only ones we know of are extremely powerful. You know, maybe everyone's trying to use it as a weapon. And with its slow aging process, 50 years and it's still being carried around in an egg. Mm-hmm. You'd have a lot of time to... And he seems very trusting.
Oh, yeah.
Mandalorian's blasting people, and he's just, sitting there
oh, you my new daddy?
Taking it all in.
Yeah.
This is quite a show. I'll help if I can.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I don't want my new daddy to die.
Right.
This guy makes sure I get food.
Gives him plenty of frogs.
Yeah. Keeps him around frogs.
But, I think we talked about, at least, in the first episode, how this is the best Star Wars content we've gotten in maybe ever, if not, since, 30, 35 years, 40 years, whatever it is. And this episode did nothing to dissuade me from that thought. Man, no. I loved it. It was only 33 minutes, but it was just enough to tell the story it needed to tell. Yeah. So if you haven't checked it out yet, definitely, take advantage of the free trial that Disney Plus is doing. Check it out. If you're not, already paying for it, check out The Mandalorian. It's a great series. That alone is worth all of the countless other things that you get with that service. And make sure you come back to us, and we'll break it down, some of the things that you might have missed.